son has spent everything that he has to get Kimberly home.
A trail of suspicion.
Her passport was expired and she was detained by immigration.
If this is her passport, it's not expired. The picture's not real, and it's signed by somebody besides her.
An act of betrayal.
You didn't send Kim any money?
No, I didn't.
You sorry bastard! You scammed me out of $200,000, and if I could find you, I'd kill you.
A shocking revelation.
She's not in Amsterdam. She's here. Come on out. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Okay, meet 54-year-old Dennis. He has been divorced almost 25 years, and he said he had pretty much given up on love. That is until last October when he met the love of his life, his beautiful fiancée, Kimberly. He met her through a dating site. Dennis says it was the start of an amazing romance, and he knew he had found the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Take a look.
My fiancée, Kimberly Escobar, is a truly awesome woman. She's the woman of my dreams. I met Kimberly when I signed up on a popular dating website. Kimberly contacted me first, and I was taken by her. The first time I saw her picture, her eyes just melted me. She has beautiful eyes. We found out that we both enjoyed taking walks in the moonlights, enjoying a glass of wine with dinner, and just enjoying each other's company. We talked about things I looked for in a wife. I told her I was looking for something beyond beauty. I love you so much, baby. You're the one to cherish my love, a blessing from heaven above. I wanted an honest person, didn't really particularly care about the looks. Kimberly and I, we discussed if we found the right person, would we be interested in getting married? I told her yes, because I'd been divorced for 25 years. Ever since we started talking about marriage, she started referring to me as her husband. I love hearing that she was calling me her husband already without putting a ring on her finger. But I have her saved in my phone as my wife. I couldn't imagine my life without my fiancée, Kimberly, at this point.
But Dennis claims his pleasure quickly turned to pain. Well, why? Because his fiancée and her daughter, Sandra, are stuck in Amsterdam. And he is yet to see them in person. Now, the problems all started last December when Kimberly and her daughter left the U.S. on a business trip to Johannesburg, South Africa, where they were involved in a terrible car accident. Now, long story short, Kimberly's passport expired while she was in the hospital, and she ran into all kinds of problems in South Africa. Now, Dennis claims when she finally left to return home, Kimberly made it to Istanbul, then Amsterdam, where she was detained because of improper travel documentation. Now, Dennis says he has spent over $200,000 on his mission to get her home. Well, it sounds a little fishy, doesn't it? Like it could be a scam, right? Well, Dennis agrees, but he says this is not a scam because he knows Kimberly is 100% real. Dennis accuses corrupt overseas officials of scamming him out of every last dime he has, while Kimberly and her precious daughter are currently left destitute in Amsterdam. Take a look.
I've spent over $200,000 trying to get Kimberly and Sandra back to the States. I want Dr. Phil to expose the corrupt government officials extorting me and taking advantage of me. Our dream was to meet each other when my fiancée, Kimberly, came back from an antique shopping trip to South Africa last year and eventually get married and enjoy our lives together. When Kimberly was in South Africa, she got into a terrible car accident. After that, doctor released her to travel, and then she went to the airport, and that's where her passport was expired, and she was detained by immigration. The police department required $17,000 for the release of them. I freaked. I finally got Kimberly and Sandra out of South Africa and got them into Turkey. Immigration in Turkey detained them for not flying with correct documents. Kimberly and Sandra spent 15 days in a Turkish prison. I feel like Turkey officials have just totally robbed me. I've spent nearly $80,000 trying to get them out of Turkey. Kimberly and Sandra made it out of Turkey and landed in Amsterdam. I was thinking I was going to get them home. The minute they got there, I got a text saying, honey, we have a problem. Kimberly and Sandra were detained by immigration in Amsterdam for 10 days. So far, I've spent close to $100,000 trying to get her out of Amsterdam. The list goes on and on. Currently, they're being forced to live in Amsterdam just till we get all the paperwork worked out. It's turned into a nightmare. It breaks my heart that she's been taken advantage of. I want Dr. Phil to help me get Kimberly and Sandra home.
Okay, Dennis, it's good to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Now, the task here is to get this woman here,
Correct.
correct? Tell me about her. She's an antique dealer?
Correct.
All right.
She has a antique store in Chicago, Illinois.
In Chicago?
Yes, sir.
All right, so she's a U.S. citizen.
Correct.
She's born here, but she spent a lot of time in Germany, right?
Yes, she was raised in Germany.
She's born in 77.
Correct.
Parents are U.S.
Correct.
And her birth name was Kimberly Willie?
That's her married name.
Her married name, okay.
Yes.
And she changed her last name to Escobar to match her grandmother?
Correct.
Okay. And she has an 8-year-old daughter.
Yes, sir.
And she was married, right?
Yes, sir.
And her husband was in the service?
Yes.
What army?
All I know is he was killed in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan?
Yes, sir.
So he was in the war?
Yes.
Okay. Her mother died of cancer, her dad in a car accident?
Yes.
Now she's currently stuck in Amsterdam, and you've run into what you consider to be a hell of a lot of corruption.
Yes, sir. I get money sent over to her for one thing. She gets it taken care of. She goes to get on the plane. Immigration steps in, says your temporary passport has expired. I get that money sent over to her. Then drug customs wants money. Money's not going to make it happen. It's going to have to be something more powerful than money. That's why I came to you.
You guys started texting back and forth, right?
Correct.
All right, and let's take a look at some of those texts. You say, I love you, baby. Sending money now. And she says, wow, really, baby? Yes, sweetie. All money has been sent, baby. A lot of money and babies in there.
Yeah.
Did it bother you to be sending money back and forth? Well, not back and forth, just forth.
No, no, it hasn't bothered me. I mean, it's my mission to get her and Sandra back to the States. I mean, that was a commitment I made to her, and I'm not going to give up.
This is a message Kimberly sent to Dennis. If you can give me your trust, am sure we can be friends without hurting each other. Although relationship is just like a perfume of which certain amount may delight you, but too much of it can turn you off. I want you to be there for me if I am not in happy mood. To carry me on, I can assure you, you will be the happiest man on earth. No distance of place or lapse of time can lessen the friendship of those who are thoroughly persuaded of each other's worth. Miles may lie between us, we're never far apart. For friendship doesn't count the miles, it's measured by the heart. She is poetic.
She's awesome.
She's got problems with sentence structure, but she's very poetic.
She has some broken English, but I read through it. I get it.
Yeah, but she's from Chicago.
Yeah, but she grew up in Germany.
Did that fit in your ear funny or your eye funny or anything?
No, that's some of the conversations we had. I mean, that's what made me fall in love with her, is reading stuff like that.
Well, Dennis claims the U.S. Embassy staffers in Amsterdam are crooked because they have done nothing whatsoever to help Kimberly. Well, I will look into this. Plus, we're going to meet Dennis's mom, Barbara, and see what she thinks about all of this next.
At this point, I'm financially destroyed. I've missed mortgage payments and my house has gone into foreclosure. I voluntarily let my motorcycle be repossessed. I've borrowed over $150,000 from a friend. I've spent $30,000 to $40,000 of my own money. I borrowed about $20,000 from my mom. My mom has no idea the money that I've spent on trying to get Kimberly and Sandra home. I fear that when my mom finds the total that I've spent, it's going to give her a heart attack.
Where did you find a friend to loan you $150,000? You got some good friends.
I have one good friend, you're right.
Yeah. Dennis claims he has sent over $200,000 in the last 10 months trying to get them back to America, but with no success. Now, he believes he is the victim of a scam, not by some catfish, not by this woman, but by corrupt overseas officials, and he wants me to expose them because he knows that's what I do. Dennis's mother, Barbara, says she has loaned him money because she also believes these crooked officials need to pay for what they did to her son and the daughter-in-law she has never met.
My son Dennis is very much in love with his fiancée Kimberly. It has been a while since my son's been in love. He hasn't really dated, been in a relationship with anyone since his divorce. It's nice to see someone nice in his life. I've seen a big difference in him since he's met Kimberly. When she sends Dennis texts, he's just, he's right on it. You can tell that he's excited when he hears from her. He drops everything just to get to the phone.
Still want to marry me?
Yeah. I am excited for Dennis to get married. It would be awesome to have Kimberly as a daughter-in-law. My son has spent everything that he has to get Kimberly and Sandra home. It seems like every time that they ask for more money, it's immigration or it's some kind of fees, passport. Every time it's something different. I don't know the exact amount that has been said, and my son won't tell me because he knew it would probably upset me. I depleted my savings account, ended up putting money on my credit cards, and I've even taken money out of my 401k. I do not have any more money to give. I feel sad for her and for her daughter. It has to be a really tough situation for them. I really hope that Dr. Phil can do something to get Kimberly and Sandra back. It has really been a nightmare.
Well, Barbara, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'm glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you surprised after 25 years that he's fallen head over heels in love like this?
Well, really, I am, because after he went through a divorce, he always was like, I'm never going to get married again, and I'm happy like I am that he met Kimberly, and it was like, whoa, that was like love at first sight. And
you think that she's hit a run of bad luck with these corrupt officials around the world?
Dr. Phil, I really do. I told Dennis from the very start that I really felt like that this was a corruption.
Do you watch the Dr. Phil show much?
I do.
Thank you. I deal with the facts and I deal with reality, and I've put some things together timeline-wise so we can see what happened. Now, you first got together, you started talking to her in October of 2016, right?
Yes.
Then we jumped to December, and that's when you started talking to marriage, and she calls you her husband, and she flies to Johannesburg, South Africa with her daughter, and you sent her $685. What was that for?
When she got to South Africa, when she got to the hotel, they put a hold on her traveler's checks, and she needed money to get into a hotel, the hotel that she was staying at.
So January, she gets her purse stolen?
At the market.
Her purse is stolen with $12,000 of traveler's checks because they took the hold off of them.
Right.
So she has no money for the hotel, which she's run a bill up.
Correct.
And so they hold her passports until she can pay the money.
Correct.
And then she is leaving to go to the airport.
Correct.
To get out of there, and has a car wreck.
Correct.
Okay, and she's hospitalized to treat her.
Correct.
And then she's jailed by immigration for 18 days.
Correct.
Because of expired passports.
Yes. When she went to the airport, immigration detained her and took her and Sandra to the police station where they held them in jail.
Okay, and is this where they went to the mother-daughter jail?
I kept asking her that I hope they stayed together.
And so you now send her $9,904
Yes, sir.
to pay the attorney?
They wanted $17,000, basically what I call bond, to get her out, and I didn't have $17,000.
Yeah.
So that's why we hired the attorney.
For expired passports?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we're February. She's been in jail for most of January.
Correct.
And South African immigration says, okay, we need $17,000 to get you out of jail.
Correct.
Okay, so now you've sent this $9,050 because you're trying to get her out of jail, right?
I eventually get her out of jail, yes.
Okay, so now we're into March, and so she has new temporary travel documents issued. She arrives in Istanbul, Turkey, and they say, well, these are improper travel documents.
Correct.
And they detain her again. She's jailed this time in Turkey by immigration for 15 days, has to hire another attorney. She's set to fly to the U.S., but she misses the flight because of improper documents. She lived at the U.S. Embassy for 6 weeks and 4 days. She moves into the embassy. I didn't even know that was an option.
Well, honestly, I don't think she was living at the embassy. I think she was actually homeless and didn't have the heart to tell me.
You send her $49,125.
Probably total, yes.
No, probably. You sent her. I added it up.
I've got documentation. If that was the total, that's what she...
And what was this for?
The police report had expired. I had to buy a new one. The temporary passports had expired. Had to rebuy those. Airline tickets had expired. So basically, it's just been over and over.
You need a new police report?
Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't know police reports expired, but apparently in Turkey they do.
You send her another $17,000. Okay, now we're into May. She left the U.S. Embassy after 6 weeks. She's detained by immigration because of expired travel documents. She's jailed again, this time for 28 days, and hires another attorney. And so you send her $1,600. June, she stays with this attorney, this woman, right?
It's a man attorney, but he's married and has a child.
Okay, for a month. You send her $18,840. Now we're into July. She leaves Turkey, arrives in Amsterdam, improper documents. They put her in jail again. This is her 4th time in the Hooskow. She's jailed for 10 days, hires another attorney, and you need to send her $23,395. But finally, well, no, she's detained at the Amsterdam airport trying to return to the U.S., so she lives at the U.S. Embassy for 6 weeks again.
This has been a cluster since day one, so...
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, September, she now sends you a check for $93,000.
Correct. Whew. No.
I bet you're glad to see that come in.
I would if it had my name on it.
Yeah, but you gave that to your friend that gave you $150,000.
I gave it to him for
but
collateral.
They accidentally put her name on it
right.
instead of yours.
Right, so it was useless.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, me too.
You've sent her $211,024. And she is now where?
Staying with Deborah, airline attendant in Amsterdam.
Now, Dennis says his fiancee, Kimberly, is 100% genuine. As we just heard, Kimberly sent him a check a few weeks ago for $93,102. We're going to take a closer look at that check when we come back.
I need Dr. Phil to know that Kimberly has not in any way been trying to scam me. People have tried to put doubts in my mind that she's scamming me. I know Kimberly's not scamming me because we communicate every day. She sent me checks, deposits, passports, everything I've asked for.
Kimberly is good for the money. I don't have any proof, otherwise.
Anything that I've asked Kimberly to send me, she's always been willing to do it and has sent it, so it makes me feel that I'm not being scammed.
Let's take a look at the check she sent you.
Okay.
She sent you a check from the University of the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, paid to the order of Kimberly Escobar, $93,102. Kimberly Escobar, and it's got the date on it. Now, then here is how it was mailed from the Island Water and Power Virgin Islands Water and Power. Now, why is this university issuing a check to Kimberly?
It's apparently from her dad's investments.
The problem with that is her last name is spelled wrong. Her passport is AR.
Okay.
And then the signature here, which we're not going to show, we have it blurred because we don't want anybody to be able to copy it. It appears to have been copied and pasted on. You can see right here. So we contacted Muriel, who is the financial controller at the University of the Virgin Islands. That really is the right person. And she told us she has never sent a check to Kimberly Escobar. And Muriel confirmed the signature on the check is hers, but that the check is fake. So let's look at the passport. Hold your thought on that, because that's one thing, right? But let's take a look at this passport. Now, here's her passport that started this whole thing, right? If her passport wasn't expired, none of this would happen. She just gets on a plane, comes home, right?
You're right.
Okay, well, here's my problem. Date of expiration, August 5th, 2018. Number one, it's not expired. Number two, signature of bearer, it's signed by somebody named Frank. That's not Kimberly Escobar. This is signed by somebody named Frank. And this picture right here, that's not a passport picture, because passport pictures only allow you to take a picture dead on, dead straight on. See, here's a passport with an actual picture, and you can see that it's straight on right here. There's no turn. It has to be 100% straight on. And as I say, this was good for 10 years, August 6th, 08 to August 5th, 18. If this is her passport, and I'm saying it's not because it isn't real, because the picture's not real and it's signed by somebody besides her, it wasn't expired to begin with. That's not a real passport. I sent a field producer that's Dutch-based, works for us, is part of our global team, to the address where Kimberly and her daughter Sandra claim they are currently staying in Amsterdam. I gave him a blank check to spend whatever it took to get them new travel documents and on a plane back to the U.S. I said, get these people, take them to the airport, buy them first-class tickets back here to L.A. right now. We're going to talk to him after the break.
There's been one person I've been able to count on. His name is Soshi. Soshi is a manager of a hotel Kimberly stayed at in South Africa. I wasn't able to do any banking in South Africa, so we figured out a way to get money to her. Sochi is the only reason that Kimberly and Sandra made it out of Turkey to Amsterdam. I feel like I owe Sochi the world for helping me.
Now, as part of our global investigation here, we sent our Dutch field producer and reporter, Levi Van Kempen, to visit the address in Amsterdam where Kimberly claims to be currently staying in a house owned by a woman named Deborah, who she says works for the airline, and out of the goodness of her heart just said, "You can come stay at my house." This is what Levi discovered.
Hi, Dr. Phil. I'm just a little bit south of the Amsterdam city center, just below the financial district, and I'm here to investigate an address Kimberly Escobar gave to Dennis. An address of a house she claims she's currently staying. The first thing I noticed that this building behind me is a short-term apartment building, so it's not a house, as Kimberly claims.
Kimberly told Dennis she's staying with a woman named Deborah. I'm going inside to see if anyone who works here can tell me if either of them are guests here.
I just want to show you a picture, if that's okay with you. She claims she lives here with her daughter. It's this lady. Her name is Kimberly. She's American. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous.
No, I'm afraid she doesn't look familiar to me.
And does the name Deborah sound familiar? In apartment 19?
No.
How long have you been living here?
Here for 2 weeks.
Do you recognize this lady?
No.
Or maybe you recognize then her daughter?
No, I didn't see that.
No?
No.
Did you see her? Her name is Kimberly?
We don't recognize her either. Sorry.
She says she's been living here.
Not on my floor. We've been here a couple of months.
Dennis says that it's sometimes hard to reach Kimberly because she says she has no reception while she's been staying here in Amsterdam. One look at my phone shows full reception. So how's your reception over here?
Fine. No problems. It's been great. Great Wi-Fi.
So, Dr. Phil, no one has ever seen or heard Kimberly Escobar, and they confirmed she never stayed or lived at this address.
Now, Kimberly claims to live in Chicago, so I sent Jim Carr, one of my field producers here in the U.S., to visit the address Kimberly Escobar provided in Chicago. Now, while he was there, I asked him to visit one of the biggest antique malls in the city to see if he could find out any information regarding Kimberly's antique business. Here's what happened.
I'm in Chicago, Illinois, trying to find the exact address that Kimberly Escobar gave Dennis as her place of residence. That address, 1014 Sawyer Avenue, doesn't seem to exist. We're looking for a woman who might live in this neighborhood. Here's a picture of her.
I've never seen a woman of that caliber in this neighborhood.
How long have you lived around here?
68 years.
Here's a picture of her. Do you recognize her?
I've never seen her before.
We're looking for a woman who might live in this neighborhood. Here's a picture of her. Have you ever seen her before?
No, not in this neighborhood.
She says she lives at 1014.
There is no 1014.
If there were a 1014 Sawyer Avenue, it would be right here, where this empty lot is. Kimberly Escobar also claims that she runs an antiques business. So we decided to check out some of the antiques dealers here in the Chicago area.
I would remember her, and she's too beautiful to be in the antiques business.
See these fingernails? There's no way she's an antique dealer.
Right.
Look at these hands.
Is she on our dealer list?
I've just checked under the 3 names you gave me. No, nothing.
Bottom line, there is no one by the name of Kimberly Escobar on Sawyer Avenue, and nobody at this antiques mall has ever heard of Kimberly, and she is not registered as an antiques dealer.
What you thinking?
Shock.
Yeah.
You gave us her phone number, and I am FaceTiming that woman right now. There's good reception because she's not in Amsterdam. She's here. She's in this building.
Hope she has my money.
Is not Kimberly Escobar.
I hope she has $211,000 on her.
Come on out. Alicia, how are you?
Alicia, nice
so
to meet
good
you.
to meet you.
Hi.
This is Barbara, and
Hello.
This is Dennis. Thank you for being here. I want to take just a minute to let this sink in, because you are seeing the woman of your dreams, but this very nice lady is a victim in this just as you are. Her identity has been stolen by someone that labeled it as Kimberly Escobar and built this whole identity around it and used it to scam you. Tell me what it feels like to actually meet the woman, even though it's not who you thought it was.
Say. I'm speechless.
You're not from Amsterdam? You don't?
No, I'm not from Amsterdam. I'm actually from Texas, and I'm in the beauty business. So it was just so eerie to see all those pictures up, because I teach makeup workshops.
Right.
And so that picture that's on the passport is actually from one of my workshops.
And I just want to be clear that you have nothing to do with this other than being a victim of identity theft.
Right.
So just be very clear, she's not involved in this in any way other than being a victim just as you
I
are.
totally get that.
Yeah, I just want to be sure everybody at home and everybody in the audience understands she's a victim here, not in any way part of this whatsoever.
I understand.
And we tracked her down, and she was gracious enough to take her time to come here because she just very compassionate about you and wanted to be sure that there was not one doubt left in your mind, because she didn't want you or your mother or anyone else to be further exploited in this situation.
I'm just in shock. I just, the money that was sent is part of it, but I just feel for my son.
I certainly take no pleasure in delivering this truth to you guys, but I think you want to know it, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you wouldn't want to continue laboring under this, and the overall findings that we have is that there is no Kimberly Escobar with the date of birth July 1277 who lives or has ever lived in the U.S., no U.S. passport holder with the name or date of birth given by Kimberly Escobar. Kimberly Escobar's passport is fake. Kimberly Escobar's address in Chicago doesn't exist. Kimberly Escobar has never stayed at the address she claimed in Amsterdam. Kimberly and Sandra Escobar are not the people in the pictures. Kimberly Escobar never stayed at the Capitol Hydro Hotel. Soji, by the way, did not work at the hotel either. Soji is from Nigeria. You want to try and give this person a phone call?
Sure.
Have you gotten a message since you came out here?
Yeah, so I'm reading.
What's the message?
What have I been doing? So she sent one. Said the $3,000 to send to Kim. I can't read it, I don't have my glasses.
Asking for more money?
Can you read it?
Oh, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
It says the $3,000 that was supposed to send to me, my wife get it back because it's not complete money she needed. So they're complaining about you not sending it efficiently.
Yeah, because I didn't have $5,000 to send.
Yeah. Put it on speaker and let's see what they say.
Soshi, can you hear me? Soshi, hey, you didn't send Kim any money?
No, I didn't.
How come?
Huh?
How come? She needed money for food. You can't help out?
I'm broke. I returned the money back to my wife.
No, listen here, you sorry. You're not broke. Your scam's up, you sorry bastard. You scammed me out of $211,000, and if I could get my ass to find you, I'd kill you. Do you understand that?
I don't understand you.
Yeah, you
understand, you sorry. You digged me out of $211,000. You understand me, Sochi? You start looking over your back, because I'm going to come kill your sorry ass, you scamming bastard.
Hey, Soji.
I don't understand you.
God. He hung up. Well, I hope that
Sorry
was...
about my language, y'all.
I hope that was cathartic. On the one hand, I'm sorry to tell you this. On the other hand, I'm glad to tell you.
That's fine.
Because you want to know.
Yeah.
True?
Sure.
Okay. Alicia, thank you for coming. I know
Thank you.
he's...
Sorry for my language.
Absolutely.
But you saved him a lot of trouble
No, I
here.
knew that it would.
Well,
He
thank
would-
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. You can log on to drphil.com, share your thoughts on our message boards. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time. Barbara.